right, guys, welcome back to the Detroit Sports Bettors Picks and Play Show. We are now in week 13 of the NFL season, and for the second time throughout our YouTube series, we are in Bounce Back Week. If you've been tuning in since the series started, you know these weeks are not very often, but last week we did end up going 1-4, just a absolutely brutal week. We are now 39-19 on the season, so still way in the profits, but you still want to bounce back in week 13. And I will say, I like this slate a lot better than I did in week 12. Week 12, it seemed like a lot of people struggled a little bit. And there were just a couple games that I definitely misread. Like, I loved that Seahawks game, and what the hell is going on there? How bad does Russell Wilson look? Like, do him and DK have something going on that like nobody knows about? I don't know. He wouldn't even look his way. So Seahawks just completely flopped. I kept looking at that LA Chargers -2.5, and it was like an alarm was going off. And I was like, Denver. And I just didn't pull the trigger, and Denver ended up smashing. So it's just one of those weeks you just misread it a little bit. And, you know, that happens. You know, it's a long season. We have 18 weeks now, and then you have the playoffs included. So we're 20 games above 500, still just absolutely smashing it and looking to bounce back this week. One thing I wanted to talk about briefly, and I'm going to put, right there. Somewhere right there. We are now, Detroit Sports Bettors now has a partnership with PrizePicks DFS. It's a really cool new DFS style sportsbook that focuses on player point props. And I will do a lineup right there showing you guys how it works, because they have different breakdowns. You can do the power play, where it's the all or nothing parlay, where, you know, you bet 50. If you lose one leg, you lose it all. Or you can do a flex play where you bet 50 or something like that. And if you lose one leg, you still make some money. So I'm going to put that right there. I'm playing every single day. Check me out on Konana's Picks. Honestly, I've had this for 4 days now, and I've been cleaning up every single day. You can go check my Twitter. I've been posting NBA. I like to use it for NBA because right now the focus has been so NFL centered, but I've literally been cleaning up every day. So check out PrizePicks on my Twitter, or check out PrizePicks and use code DSB when you sign up, because it's 100% money match up to $100. Okay. So you won't hear me talking about that too often. I'm not going to be all salesy with it and shit like that, but I will put my picks in place, and hopefully you guys follow along at some point. But let's get into today. Like I said, week 13, I have way more plays that I like in week 12. Week 12, I was kind of forcing shit. And, you know, I always want to give you guys something. And unfortunately, I gave you guys a 1-4 week, which absolutely sucks, but we're bouncing back. Week 13, let's get into it, starting with Thursday night football. Okay, tonight we have the Dallas Cowboys going against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. And right now, for me, I'm going to be siding with the Saints. There is too much, and please keep in mind this video is recorded on December 1st, okay, which is a Wednesday. This game is Thursday, tomorrow. But right now, there's a lot going on with the Dallas Cowboys in terms of COVID. Mike McCarthy got COVID. They're saying that other players could have got it. They have to trace who he's been around. So there's still a chance that other players could sit out. In addition to that, Taysom Hill. Okay, Taysom Hill, every single time that he started last season, he rushed for over 33 yards, which his rushing prop is generally, from what I saw, around 32.5. So he's hit that over in every single one. And then right now, his passing prop, I believe, is 210. And I'm looking at this right now, actually. He hit that in 3 out of 4 starts last season as well. Okay, so if you like that, can definitely take that. I think that these Saints are going to be more careful with the football. They are going to try and control this. Taysom Hill isn't the most brilliant passer in the world, but he is capable of making simple passes, easy passes. You know, he can control the game. And I think that's what's going to occur here, because Dallas still is going to have a little bit of gelling. They're going to get Amari Cooper back. They're going to get CeeDee Lamb. They're going to be full go, but for them to just come in and click like that, I think that might be tough. And then still with all the COVID stuff, it's so tough to judge games when you hear COVID stuff going on, because you don't know who's going to play. You know, if one player, like especially if Dak got it or something like that, or say Zeke and Pollard both got it or something, you know, it can really affect the spread. So it's just tough to make a good read on that currently. But I will have my article out tomorrow, as always. And I think Thursday I'll have a better read on everything. We'll have the COVID news, stuff like that, who's officially playing. So look for my Thursday Night Football article if you're interested in that. But for right now, I would be siding with the Saints and the points, because if other players did get COVID, then there's going to be value in getting points with the Saints. So that's where I'd be siding currently. Moving on, and we have the Cincinnati Bengals at home against the LA Chargers, and these are my official picks for the week. And you guys know how I feel about my Cincinnati Bengals, and I am riding with them once again. And let me just say this, plus 2,500 division winner at the beginning of the season, took them. I still think they're going to win this division. Baltimore, the most overrated team in the NFL. You've heard me say it week in, week out. Sooner or later, it is going to come crashing down on them, and I hope it's soon. But anyways, Cincinnati Bengals -3 against the LA Chargers. I am riding with the Cincinnati Bengals -3. This one is just very, very simple for me. If you have been watching the LA Chargers this season, they cannot stop the run game. It is brutal. It's embarrassing. Teams who cannot run the football are running the football on the LA Chargers. And now they're going against Joe Mixon and the Cincinnati Bengals, who on the season have averaged 111 yards per game. And then over the last 3, they've averaged around 147. Okay. The Bengals should kill them. I think they should beat them by double digits personally, because what's going to occur here is they're going to just pound the rock, opens up the play action game. Jamar Chase over the top, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd on the inside. This team is starting to gel, and this is one of those teams as well. We're getting to that point in the season where when teams start ramping it up, teams that are kind of slept on, Cincinnati Bengals, San Francisco 49ers, Indianapolis Colts. Okay, these teams that are tough right now, but figuring it all out, gelling, they are great future bets. The teams that you want to take leading into the playoffs are generally going to be the teams that start clicking, that get the hottest. I understand like a team like the Indianapolis Colts has lost to the Bucs. They've lost to the Titans, but they're getting that experience. They're realizing, hey, we can compete with the top of the top, within the NFL. And really, can you recall a year like this? I mean, this year just appears to be wide open. I don't know who I would put at the top currently. So yeah, I think it could be definitely one of those years. A wild card team makes a run and could potentially surprise us. So just saying, keep an eye on those future bets. But back to the Cincinnati Bengals and LA Chargers game. Because again, I think this just comes down to the run game more than anything. The LA Chargers are dead last in stopping the run. And then look at some of the teams that the LA Chargers have lost against. The New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, the Baltimore Ravens, teams that are very good up front and controlling the line of scrimmage, both offensively and defensively. And then in addition to that, the Cincinnati Bengals have a top 10 rush defense. So just overall, this team is far better. I might put Justin Herbert just a little bit above Joe Burrow currently, but when you have the run game, when you have that play action, when you are able to freeze those linebackers and freeze the safeties, even for a second, that is huge. So I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals at home. I think they keep it rolling, and I think they win this division. Moving on, we have the Detroit Lions at home going against the Minnesota Vikings. Right now, that is a -7 spread for the Minnesota Vikings, and that is exactly where I'm going to be going in this one. Once again, the Lions are hot, cold. So I'm going to ride the trend. The Detroit Lions played tough against the Chicago Bears last week. And we kind of all thought, hey, this is do or die. If they don't win this game, they're not winning a game all season. And unfortunately, I do believe that. The Minnesota Vikings have been playing good football. They hung tough against the San Francisco 49ers, who are really clicking right now. And I think this Minnesota Vikings team just has too much for the Lions. The Detroit Lions are, I think they're the bottom 5, both pass defense and rush defense. So, and now they're going against Minnesota, who, yes, Dalvin Cook is out, but Alexander Mattison might be the most capable backup, or I'd say top 3 capable backups in the NFL, with like Tony Pollard and those guys. But I think Alexander Mattison could still come in, have 100 yards rushing. Then you have Justin Jefferson on the outside, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins has been playing good football. And then again, it comes down to that play action game. Do the Lions have to respect the play action game? And I say yes. I think Alexander Mattison will get it going, and then that opens up things for Justin Jefferson. And the books kind of reflect that, because Justin Jefferson's over under, I believe, is at 87.5 right now. Thielen's around 61.5. So yeah, I'm just siding with the Minnesota Vikings here. This is pretty simple for me. If the Minnesota Vikings get this get it going at all, I expect them to cover this spread. This -7 spread just seems too low. If Minnesota scores 24 points, do you think the Lions get 17? I don't know. I don't know. This offense has been struggling so hard to move the football. The play calling, I'm not trying to throw Dan Campbell under the bus, but the play calling has been absolutely brutal. The man does not know how to play a game. He needs to understand that, in a way, football is like chess, as we all know, but some of the greatest minds in business, some of the greatest minds in sports understand when they have to hire someone smarter than themselves. You need someone who's going to be brilliant in X's and O's, like a Josh, Bill Belichick is brilliant, but Josh McDaniels is another, he's an example that as an offensive coordinator, he wins chess games, and that is part of football. You need that coach sometimes, the Sean Paytons, the Andy Reids, they can win in a chess game. Dan Campbell is not that guy. He's just not that guy. Can he be a leader? Can he be a motivator? I do believe so, but you need to be smart enough to understand when to hire people from the outside who are smarter than you, who can come in, who can run that X's and O, who can run that chess game. So that's what I think needs to happen in the offseason with the Detroit Lions, because right now with this play calling, for one, it's still very limited. They have the worst wideouts in the entire NFL. Jamal Williams is going to be starting, who is a capable backup once again, but it's just too much. The Vikings have too much firepower on the other side. You never know when the Lions are just going to completely flop. And after playing hard on Thanksgiving, I think they could flop. So I'm going to go with the Vikings -7 in this one. Moving on, we have the Seattle Seahawks at home against the San Francisco 49ers. And if you guys think there's any chance I am taking the Seattle Seahawks ever again, I'm not. No chance. No chance. I'm on the San Francisco 49ers -3 this time because the Seattle Seahawks just looked absolutely brutal. That defense is just terrible. Russell Wilson, for one, if you guys watched him on Monday Night Football, man, it's a shortened week as well. I just thought of that. But if you watched him on Monday Night Football, it was terrible. It was terrible. Russell Wilson needs to be protected because he's one of the shorter quarterbacks in the NFL. They list him at around 6 foot. He's like 5'10". So if you're getting defensive tackles pushed into your face, he's going to have a lot of trouble all game. He's going to have a lot of trouble seeing his receivers. He's going to have the arm angle because you have to release it higher, so the ball is more likely to float on him. And if you watched Russell Wilson last week, he just did not look comfortable. And we're talking about the Washington football team, who actually have one of the bottom 3 pass defenses in the entire NFL. And they could not get the job done until that last drive when they missed the 2-point conversion. But again, now they're going up against the San Francisco 49ers, who are known for their defensive line. This team is really starting to click. And then on the other hand, you have the Seattle Seahawks, who have one of the worst rush defenses in all of football. They have one of the worst defenses just in general in all of football. And now they're going against the 49ers once again, who Elijah Mitchell has been really clicking. Their rushing offense is top 10 in the NFL. Look at Deebo Samuel. My goodness, that guy is playing some good football. He's running the football well. He's catching the football out of the backfield. He's running routes. Jimmy G and him have a great connection. And what's occurring too is, again, when I keep going back to the run game and the play action, every team that I've been taking so far is very good in the play action game. And Jimmy G has been doing that to perfection during this run. You stick it in that gut, you pull it out, and you hit like George Kittle over the middle. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen against Seattle. Once again, this San Francisco 49ers team has been scoring 25 plus on the regular over throughout this run. Seattle, on the other hand, can't hit 20 points. So it's once again, I'm if the 49ers hit 27, do I think the Seahawks can hit 24? I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm on the San Francisco -3. I think they're just playing way too good right now. Russell Wilson, I think, wants out of Seattle. I think this could be an end for Pete Carroll with DK Metcalf as well. I don't know what's going on there. Way, way too talented of a receiver to be held under 50 yards 3 games in a row. It might be 4 games in a row, but it's just ridiculous. It really is. I'm siding with San Francisco here. This is still a game they very much need. They are 6-5 on the season, and they still have the Arizona Cardinals and LA Rams ahead of them. So again, still a game they very much need to fight for. The only thing that worries me, when you're looking at teams who are basically out of playoff contention, okay, what's going to get them up? What's going to get them to play hard? Division rivals, okay, San Francisco and Seattle, division rivals. So there is a chance they get up for that one. Other than that, when teams are eliminated from the playoffs, and I don't know if Seattle's officially eliminated, but they're pretty damn close. But the games that they get up for are generally division rivals, primetime matchups, because they don't want to get embarrassed on national television. So that's the only thing that makes me a little bit weary. I do think this line can go up to 3.5 to 4 potentially. And then when it gets to that, it's a little more dicey, but I just can't get down with the Seattle team right now. So I'm on San Francisco -3. Moving on, and I've been trashing the Ravens all season long, and we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at home going against the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm on the Pittsburgh Steelers +4.5. As you guys know, this is very simple to me. Baltimore Ravens, the most overrated team in the entire NFL. This is a huge rivalry game, maybe the biggest rivalry game in all of football. Pittsburgh Steelers just got embarrassed 41-10 by the Cincinnati Bengals. Shout out. But this is, it's bounce back. Like we talked about, it's very simple. You got to play this week to week, okay? Bounce back right now. Mike Tomlin called out the Pittsburgh Steelers 5-5-1, said it's put up or shut up. When your head coach kind of calls you out like that, your team tends to get up a little more, especially for the Baltimore Ravens. And then, yes, you look at that 41-10 loss last week, but if you dive into the numbers a little more, there are some promising things. Like, for one, Najee Harris, okay? Najee Harris only played 58% of the snaps. TJ Watt only played 79% of the snaps. And Casey Hayward only played 78% of the snaps. And I understand it's around 80%, so it's a good amount. But what that means is Mike Tomlin was not trying to come back in this game. He knew this game was over. He wanted to rest his players and look to Baltimore. Okay, so that's what he did. TJ Watt was coming off that injury, so he got to play. He's healthy. He rested more than usual. Again, looking to Baltimore. Najee Harris only playing 58%. He usually plays close to 100%. So he should have fresh legs. Playing Baltimore, they are at home. This crowd is going to be fully behind them. I understand. I'm fully aware Big Ben looks terrible. They still have weapons, though. That defense is still good. They're not very good at stopping the run. But again, Mike Tomlin can scheme to Baltimore. I think Baltimore is an easy team to scheme for. Lamar Jackson is very, very tough to stop, but you can scheme it. And Pittsburgh has the players to do that. So I am going to be on Pittsburgh +4.5 in this one. I just don't see them getting embarrassed last week to someone in their division with the Cincinnati Bengals, and then getting embarrassed again to another team in their division in the Baltimore Ravens. I just don't see it. Again, at home, +4.5. I will take the Steelers in this one. I think that this week, last week they got back TJ Watt, they got back Minkah Fitzpatrick and Joe Hayden, so yes, that was their first week back, but you come back that first week, you're a little bit rusty. Second week back, gelling a little more. And all three of those guys are very important players to that defense. So I think they get an added boost. I think Tomlin gets this team going. I think they have a great scheme coming, playing at home against Baltimore. So again, take the Steelers +4.5 in this one. Moving on, we have the LA Rams against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Right now, this is a -12.5 spread, and that's exactly where I'm going with this one. The Rams have now lost 3 in a row, and they've looked pretty bad doing it. They have faced good competition, though. Last week they played the Green Bay Packers. They lost to San Francisco, but they have been struggling. What is one thing, though, that the LA Rams is incredibly good at? And it's beating lower level competition. They beat the Bears by 20. They beat the Giants by 27. They beat the Texans by 16. And they beat both the Lions and the Seahawks by 9. Okay, that Lions one a little different because it was just such a rivalry narrative. But I think this team had to adjust once Robert Woods went down. Yes, they have OBJ, but he is a different style wideout than Robert Woods. So you have to adjust, okay? And this is now the 3rd week that they'll be together. I think this could be the one. What better spot to get right? Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, this defense is just so talented. Von Miller, I think they're going to have a field day against a rookie quarterback. They're going to be feeling good again. Going to score a lot of points. I think this is like a 34-10, something like that. So I love this minus 12.5. I think this is a great spot for Stafford to get right. I think Cooper Kupp gets going again. I think OBJ might get going. He might even get in the end zone and get that feel for the LA Rams, yeah, once again, I just think this is a great bounce back spot. Not a ton to really discuss in this one. Jacksonville has an okay defense. They're not that bad, but again, for a rookie quarterback coming into LA to kind of be playing against like the Showtime Rams, it's going to be tough. And with 12.5, the Rams have been very good all season long at beating subpar competition. I think they keep it going against Jacksonville, and there's really not a better spot to bounce back. So I'm on the LA Rams minus 12.5 in this one. And then lastly, my last pick of the week. Okay, this is Sunday Night Football. And currently, this is the Denver Broncos going on the road to face the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are minus 10 in this one, and I will be on the Denver Broncos plus 10. Okay, and I get it. The Kansas City Chiefs are on a good run now. They've won, I believe, 4 in a row. I believe it's 4 in a row. But when you take a look into those wins, they're not really as impressive as you think. For one, they beat the New York Giants at home by 3. Okay. Then they beat the Green Bay Packers led by Jordan Love, and they won that by 6. Okay. They didn't cover the spread either. They beat Gruden and the Raiders after the whole Henry Ruggs thing was going down when John Gruden, and then they even had an idiot corner who was like showing off guns on Instagram, who he got kicked off the team too. So there's a lot of shuffling going on, and they just beat a very weak-minded Las Vegas Raiders team just because of everything that was going on. And now who they beat last week? Henry Ruggs. Oh, Cowboys. They beat the Cowboys by 10 last week, and then they didn't have Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb left the game early as well. So they beat the New York Giants, who struggled against at home by 3 in a primetime matchup, who, the New York Giants are just losing to everyone almost. And then, again, the Green Bay Packers with Jordan Love, who he couldn't move the ball for anything. Then they had the Raiders with everything going on. And then they had the Cowboys, who were missing 2 of their top 2 wideouts. So I just think this number is incredibly inflated. This Denver Broncos team, in addition, is a team that can really control the football. They're running the football well. Melvin Gordon is playing very good. And Teddy Bridgewater, I very much understand that he cannot stretch the field, but he might be the perfect quarterback for this Kansas City Chiefs defense, because you're just dinking and dumping it. When there's a player open underneath, Teddy is always willing to take that. And that run game opens up the play action game as well. In addition, I do get that this defense is playing a lot better, but they are playing a team that can control the clock. They're also facing a Denver Broncos defense that is very much slept on. They're top 12 in both passing defense and rushing defense. And Justin Herbert even came out last week and said how great that defense played and how well they disguised everything. So again, I think this is a team that's just slept on. I think they're going to come into Arrowhead. I think they play tough. And I think 10 is just too much. I expect this to go down. I personally expect this to go down. So if you want this 10, I would take it early. But for me, again, I'm going to be going with the Denver Broncos. Tougher team than people believe. Run the football well. You can control the clock. You play good defense. That's football. You know what I mean? And this Kansas City Chiefs team is too up and down for me. They haven't been showing that they can cover all these spreads. So I don't expect them to cover a double-digit spread at home against the Broncos. And that's it, guys. That is it for week 13. How many picks and plays did we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks and plays. Wow. And then I also like the Monday Night Football matchup with the Bills and Patriots. I will have a Monday Night Football breakdown on the Detroit Sports Bettors Facebook page. Okay, I like the Bills -3, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to dive into it. All right, so please check that out for me. Let's go over the picks and plays one more time. Again, week 13 picks and plays. Here we go. Thursday Night Football, Dallas Cowboys and New Orleans Saints. Currently, right now, I'm going to be going with the Saints +4.5 because there's too much COVID stuff. But on Thursday, you will probably hear more about the situation, so you can kind of evaluate how you'd like. Next, we have the LA Chargers going against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm on the Bengals -3. Vikings versus the Lions. I am on the Vikings -3. 49ers on the road going against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm on the 49ers -3. Pittsburgh Steelers at home against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm on the Steelers +4.5. Jacksonville Jaguars on the road going against the LA Rams. I'm on the Rams minus 12.5. And then the Denver Broncos facing the Kansas City Chiefs for Sunday Night Football. I am on the Denver Broncos plus 10. And then for Monday Night Football, check out the Monday Night Football breakdown, because for right now, I am on the Bills minus 3. And that's it, guys. As always, I appreciate you checking out the Detroit Sports Bettors Picks and Play Show, Week 13. Check Detroit Sports Bettors out on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, podcasts on Apple and Spotify, and check out my Twitter at Kowalis Picks. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. As always, bounce back week. Let's get it. I am out. Peace, y'all.